Hello, Tamily. Good morning or afternoon or evening. Um, we are getting ready for our 87th. Why does it say that I'm live? I am live. So anyway, we're getting ready for our 87th Ask Tamily interview today, and it's Hi Suzanne, featuring Ashley. Her Instagram handle is at Dance Move Shake, and she should be joining shortly. Suzanne, you're here, but you're the only one. Can you hear me and see me okay? Okay, you waved at me, so we're good. And am I on my account? Because it said that I joined, which seems weird. The Instagram would tell me that, but... So we're just waiting for Ashley to show up here. And I'm not seeing her, but others are joining. Hi. So we're just waiting for Ashley. We're getting ready to, okay, perfect. So we're getting ready to start our 87th Ask Tamily interview. Hope everybody is well today. And relaxing at home. Okay, Ashley's here. So, this is always the worst part. Hi.
Hi, did that work?
It worked great. Yep.
I brushed my hair for you.
I curled my hair for you, but I did brush my teeth too.
Me too. That's all I did.
That's it. Yeah.
So am I looking here, right? That's
yeah.
right.
I just kind of look at you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us for our 87th Tamily interview. There are folks on the in the chat right now, so we have some questions planned, and then we'll answer chat questions. So everybody, drop your questions for Ashley. So this is Ashley. Her Instagram handle is at Dance Move Shake, and I think we're ready to roll. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so our first question is always, when and how did you start the Tracy Anderson method?
So the first time I'd heard of it in probably like 2010, 2011, and just took notice, because at that time in my life, anytime I heard of any fitness thing, like all of us, I'm just like, oh, what's that? I think I saw it like on an Us Weekly or something, or in like a women's health magazine, like cut out, like I tore out the sheet and like I taped it. At the time I was living in Los Angeles, like inside of my closet, thinking like, oh, I'll do this sometime, but I never actually did it. And then I was on a retreat in Africa. I'm a yoga teacher, and I was leading a retreat in Africa, and my friend Lacey was there. And every morning before the safari, we were sharing a room, she would be doing arms and her streaming. And I was like, what is that? She's like, Tracy. I'm like, oh, I like this. And at the time she was living in New York, and she was a studio member, but she was on safari with me for 2 weeks. So that was my introduction to it, really. And it was November. I remember it was the week before Thanksgiving 2014, where I watched someone do it as you would brush your teeth. I watched someone do it like it was the most important thing to her, other than everything else that we were doing, but it was a non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. So I saw her dedication, and also I've been friends with her since we were 14, and I just noticed she looked different in the last 5 years than she looked the rest of our lives. We were both athletes, but there was just something different. It was stronger, like even stronger than when we were competitive athletes growing up. And when I got back, I ordered Metamorphosis, and it came to my house. And I remember I was so excited, and I like opened the package and I put the DVD in, and I did it. And I was like, this isn't as hard as what I was watching her doing. What's going on? And then I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if it's hard or not. You know what's going to be hard for me is this diet thing. And then, because it came with like a pamphlet that said like, you know what I'm talking about, the pamphlet. And I just started But for those of you, if this is new, or you're like, this is your first month, or you just did streaming and not Metamorphosis, when you order Metamorphosis, it's a 90-day program. And in that program, she suggests this 14-day meal plan in conjunction with 30 minutes muscular structure, as well as 30 minutes dance cardio. So I, being the good student that I am, I was like, I'm going to do everything to a T. So I did the meal plan. I went to Smith's. I got everything for 2 weeks, so I wouldn't have to go out to the grocery store. And at the time, I didn't do the dance cardio every day because I was taking Zumba, but it was Zumba Gold. So it was like with the senior citizens. So it wasn't like as high impact, but for me, it like got my heart rate up. So it was an hour. I counted that as my dance. But other than that, I did it to a T, and I saw such incredible results. I want to say in the first 3 days, I know that's not going to be the case for everybody, but I noticed in my face and right here, especially in my chest, like maybe it was something internal. It wasn't necessarily external because it was only 3 days, but I felt like just something opening.
Yeah.
And I did that for 90 days. It was really helpful. She included almost like a calendar, like when you're little, you know, those magazines that you could pull out and like post on the wall. I did that calendar, and that is a tip. Like, if you're new at this, please, like, tracking is so helpful. So I tracked that, and I would use a Sharpie, and I was like, it said TA structure, TA DC. And then I would put a check if I did each one. And I did it for 90 days. And then when that was over, I just happened to be ending a chapter of my life living in Las Vegas, and I moved to Los Angeles. I was staying with my dad, who lived in Studio City, which is the same location as her studio. And I became a member in May of 2015. So 6 months after starting Metamorphosis. So I did Metamorphosis continuity. I didn't do streaming at that time. I don't even know if it was out yet in 2014. But then she started in 2016, right?
Yeah, I think it was, I had turned 39. I can never remember the years. It was 5 years ago. Is this our 5th year?
I think so.
So 2015. Yeah, like,
okay, so she had just started streaming, but I was in the studio, and that became my daily practice. Even though I had been doing it, like she says, like, you don't become an expert year one. You don't become if you're a trainer, you don't become expert year 1 or year 2. You become an expert year 10, year 8. And I don't care how strong you are. You're an Olympic athlete, if you're a ballerina, if you were in the military and you did like this workout, because of the mental aspect of it, takes dedication and repetition, I believe. So even though I had been doing it for 6 months, I chose at the studio not to go into the classes, but to do custom. And I'm so happy I did, because I met Shana, and she is an incredible ball of sunshine. She's just she never made me feel stupid for asking questions. She knew when to encourage me to keep going, and she knew when to respect my injuries or my complaining or whatever it was that I was. Sometimes it was making an excuse because it was too hard, and other times it was real, and she was really good at tuning into when that was, and the way she did it was just by asking questions and listening. And I think that's something I learned from Shana, is listening is so much more powerful than talking. And she listened to me a lot. And with that being said, I felt like I started to get the method then. I know that's not an option for everybody, but I do, with this, what you're doing right now and what the hashtag Tamily and being on Instagram does, it gives you immediate friendship and immediate support. And I could count on 2 hands the amount of people that I've never met before in my life that I've FaceTimed once I joined the Tamily, and they would get down on the ground, or vice versa. I would get down on the ground and show them like a move, even though we have breakdowns, or like show them my struggles. And just that having that one-on-one support that the custom programming, if you're a studio member, gives you, is available to all of us. And I don't believe you have to be a trainer to give it. I think all of us, whether it's our day 1 or year 5, I think we can do it.
year 10.
So that's been like, so fast forwarding to, not fast forwarding, but I was a studio member for the time I lived in Los Angeles, really dedicated, did customs, and then moved back to Las Vegas, ended my membership, but started, and then I ended Tracy. I opened a yoga studio, and as I think anybody who owns a business knows, especially if it's a small business and you have less than 3 employees, you don't have time for anything else. It's kind of like having a new baby. You just don't have time. So I did my Metamorphosis DVDs once in a while, but I was teaching 18 to 24 classes a week in the beginning. So I had no time. And then what happened next? So I took probably a year off, maybe a year and a half. And then I closed my studio, and it was when I did that I started streaming. And I remember the day I started streaming, there was this song, it was like a Parisian artist, and the song's called Tilted, and there was just something about like the beat that made me like go like this. I'm like, what? Why did I stop doing this? This feels so good. Why did I stop doing this? And then it was like, from then on, I didn't stop. And that was January 2018, and I actually started an Instagram account July 29th, 2018. And the reason I remember the day is because it was the same day that another person on here started. Her name's Lala Loves Tam, and her name's Laura Steele. And again, same thing like that I had with Lacey. I just immediately, it was just like synchronization. Like she had been doing the method for 8 years. I'd been doing it for a couple years, and we just came together, and we actually ended up doing a vitality week together and several other things. But I know that's other questions, so I'll wait. But that's kind of been my journey, and where I'm at now is beginner.
Isn't it a wonderful, but yet follows you. That's what's so amazing about this. I mean, you have gone through every, short of like being under Tracy Anderson's wing, right? Which we all are. You have done it all, the full spectrum of what Tracy, and now you're back at it, and that's, that's what matters.
And I think that's what I was like, just being kind to myself too, just remembering like she's there. It is true, it's her method, but I really do, like, the trainers are incredible. Like, her method and her team is always there for us, and there is no reason, absolutely no reason to take a break. But if you do take a break, I never feel guilty about coming back. I just feel like it's home. And that's really a good place to be, and for sure.
Home feels that far away either, or they say good friends not see each other for 5 years and then come back together like, oh, I just saw you yesterday, fall back in line. That is an amazing journey. So you're streaming now, and you're doing beginning. Are you you're obviously
I'm mixing it up. I had a baby June 23rd 2019, so she'll be 9 months on Monday, so almost 9 months ago. And in that 9 months, oh, by the way, when I was pregnant, I had worked up. It took me, I want to say, a year and a half of doing beginning and fundamental to work up to an attain, and I was doing attain 7 days a week. The only reason I would take a break is if I was sick, which happened maybe once every 2 months for 1 to 3 days. But other than that, I always did it. And on top of attain, I would do her trampoline workout that was on the bonus, or the treadmill workout, like 1 or 2 times a week. Then when I became pregnant, I didn't know it at first, and I still did trampoline, but I knew like I was just peeing all the time. And still to this day, I had the trampoline, I got it out, like, then I just had to clean it. I was like, this is stupid, I can't do this. So I'm not doing trampoline right now. Yes. So
well, I maybe 22 years ago, and that still happens on the trampoline.
Really? Does it happen when you do dance cardio too?
Only if I have to pee. I have to pee before I dance. Otherwise, I'm just like, it's so stupid. TMI.
No, it's not TMI. Oh, accept that my pants are going to be wet, and unless they're soaked, then I don't stop and change.
Right.
Yeah, so I did attain until I was about 10 weeks pregnant, and then, but not 7 days a week. I would say it was more like 2 to 3. And then I switched. I didn't even go down to fundamental. I just went right to her. Actually, one of the Tamily members who was living in Las Vegas at the time, her name is Barbara. I think it's like Balanced or Barbara Tamily.
I met her actually.
Yes. Okay. So she was living very close to me, and we did a couple workouts together, and then she gifted me way before my baby shower, but the pregnancy project, and so I did that, and I did that sometimes twice a day. I found that was just so much more gentle. It still was the classic angles, and she did a lot of chair work, but the heart rate, fast pacedness sometimes, or even medium tempo, didn't exist. Everything was calm, nurturing, grounding, but it was still, the angles were there, so I felt like I was doing it. So I just broke a sweat every time.
Right.
Actually, I believe the free arms are much harder in the pregnancy project.
Really?
Oh, 100%. So my theory on arms is, when she gets to fundamental and advanced, and again, I'm not a trainer, so I don't know if this is right, but my experience lets me share this, is that when you do beginning arms or any of the pregnancy arms, the pace, because we're not all Tracy's height. Tracy is a certain height. Some of us are taller, some of us are shorter. Some of us have longer limbs, some of us have shorter limbs, so you can't see my arms. But like when you do this, like this move, if you do it the pace of Tracy does it, you might be going like this and not really getting the
like reaching
but she is, because for her that's what, but for us it's like you're not cheating, but you're cutting off the expansion that's supposed to happen and the feeling of so like I feel like when she goes slower, it's more adaptable for whatever height you are or whatever length your limbs are. And when I feel like I need a reset, I always go back specifically to any of the bonus content arms I feel like are slowed down a little bit, but specifically any of the beginning class, and just do them, because she usually does one song free weight or free arms and then one song weights. Just do it 2 times and then you got 10 or 12 minutes. And for me, feel more concentrated and it just feels different. Whereas the fundamental and the advanced arms, I feel like it's more like I'm going to a dance class or a jazz class and I'm following choreography, but sometimes when I just don't feel the same effect. And also I feel like it's more Metamorphosis arms, if anybody knows that.
Oh yeah.
The beginners. Yeah. So that's my experience.
That's an amazing journey. I mean, I think you have, of all of the Tamily that I've talked to and that we've interviewed, you have like the most broad kind of spectrum of experience.
I feel really fortunate, and I want to again credit that to Tracy's team, specifically Tracy and Maria and Stacy, who also have a really close specifically friendship with Stacy. She actually did my measurements, so when you go to the studio, you get measured. I think Tracy talked about this. I know Tracy says she does the 5-year study 20 years ago where she took women's measurements, 150 women, and followed them. That's what they do for members, whether you do customs or not. You go there, they strip you down to a bra and underwear. And just so everybody knows, you don't have to be a member to get this. Write the prescription team, and Stacy or Maria will respond. It's Tracy Anderson Method Online Studio. They will respond. They'll ask you for specific pictures. You you send it back through direct message on Instagram, and they will get back to you. But it's different sending pictures and having them look at it when they choose to, and sending you back your whatever centric you are, and then a plan, versus if you're in a room, and their room, because the studios, as you know, New York and LA real estate is expensive. The majority of the Tracy Anderson studio is a room that's just with mirrors, what you see on the video on streaming. There's a tiny office, like the size of our bathroom, or like a toilet, where they are next to you, measuring you, breathing on you, and you're just like
mortified at like, oh God.
I wasn't mortified. I was like, I was excited. I was like, this is the start of the rest of my life. Like I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, I know what being, what mass, what matter, what energy is standing here now is going to shift. And part of me knowing that is because I did the DVDs before and I knew how I felt when I was committed, and I knew that I was making a new commitment. So I employ anybody who hasn't been doing this or fell off the wagon or whatever you want to say. If you need motivation to get started, don't be afraid to reach out, because they will give you the motivation.
I need to do that. I have never sent in my pictures. I've been doing this for
really?
And I've never sent them in.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know, because I don't know. I'm gonna do it though. I'm doing it. This is the week to like do it. So
I think so.
So what results have you seen since, you know, you've
Yes, no. So so when I first did the method, I love the hearts. The results I saw were in the first 14 days. So I'm going to give you like real results, not internally what I spiritually and emotionally felt, but like I don't want to even say that. That's not right. The real results is the mental and the spiritual and the emotional, I think. But the results to my physical body after Metamorphosis was I probably lost maybe I didn't weigh myself, but maybe 3 to 5 pounds. But the way my body looked was different, and I was 2 sizes smaller. Like I had never been that size pant before. Like I had to buy 2 sizes smaller. So it was very clear that why the Tracy Anderson method, they tell you to do measurements, or why the prescription team will say, send us these measurements and show you how to measure, because that's where you see the results. Mm-hmm. Some people might see them on the scale, but the real results is the way the design of your body shifts. And it shifts. It doesn't take 5 years. It doesn't take 10 years. It does for the design that she has in mind to happen, but for the beginning of it to start to occur and the evolution to start to occur, it just takes dedication. So if you can dedicate 6 days a week to specifically the structure work, I believe that you can do it. And so, that was my maybe 3 to 5 pounds, but like 2 sizes smaller in the first 14 days. And then after the 90 days of the metamorphosis, I was like, I don't even know, maybe like, I was still the same pant size, but I definitely lost more weight. And also I just looked like lean and ripped, and it was so cool. And I think a lot of people know this, but I'll share if you don't. Like, I'm a yoga teacher. The yoga I practice is not the yoga that you see at LA Fitness or Gold's Gym. It's very based in dance, meditation, stretching, and chanting. So it doesn't have the effects of dedicated, specific physical routine and physical progression that the Tracy Anderson method and her sequence offer. So I feel like that was the missing piece for me.
Right.
So I'm not saying like throw out, like I know she says like, if you do this and this and this and this, like do my method only. I personally believe in that. She's our teacher for a reason, but I do feel like if you do other things that aren't sculpting the physical fascia, the tissues, the muscles, the joints the same way, then it won't mess up her design. That's been my experience. Like singing and dancing and walking and won't.
Right. Well, and anything that, that feeds you, you have to be doing. Just because someone else tells you to follow, we all have to make our own decisions in this, and allowed to.
I will say then when I was a member at the studio, because I had not been doing the heat and humidity, my results, I was like, oh, they're definitely going to change. They're going to be so much faster. They were so much slower. Oh my God. I was a member for a year, and maybe it's because I've been doing it a couple years and I reached my plateau. Like, they said they could see it, and I saw in pictures, I definitely saw a difference, but the way my clothes fit, the way I felt, I do believe that doing something the same level all the time, that's why she goes back to saying, like, if you do attain all the time and then stop, that's good because that, like, you can't play a professional game, blah, 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 blah. Like that little spiel.
Right.
I believe in that because if you're doing that all the time, like for me, I saw the most results with Metamorphosis and streaming consistently. When I was a studio member, I did get burnout, and they even told me, they're like, Ashley, we love you, but you should take a day off. You should come 6 days a week, not 7 days a week. And then even Stacy like kind of pulled me aside, and she's like, and you have to be honest with yourself, like talk about the food stuff with me.
Right.
And I want to respect everyone's privacy, but there's a reason why we're all here together. And there's something I've realized as I've become close with specific friends on here is that when you feel you can be honest with people, you realize how we're not that different. Like, and there's so many similarities. And I found a community of support too for all of my food stuff, and that was super helpful.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my thing.
And it's true. It's the who would have thought this massive group of women and a few men could get together and like just be supportive. And
there's a certain type of person that does this method too. Like, I mean, I'm not saying, well, actually I will say this because it's important. There's a lot of stupid people in the world, and I think Tracy attracts intelligent people.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met a person that I wouldn't genuinely respect off the bat and want to learn from and trust that I could learn from in her studios, in her Vitality Weeks that are part of this workout. I have it.
We all have this, like, you can't explain it. You can't. It just is. It just is.
And the talents and the gifts that Tracy brings out, like when you do this method all the time, all of your dormant gifts start to rise to the surface, I feel like.
You just feel, it just feels good. Yeah, it's the Tamily. I don't know. You can't explain it, but do it. If you're listening to this right now and you haven't hit play, if you haven't started, just start.
And I know you probably will ask me this later, but I do want to give a shout. There's this one woman that I recently started following, something esthetician. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I can look on her handle. Anyways, if you're listening or if you're on there, like, so I love watching her because it reminds me of when I started and I had someone reach out to me in the beginning. It is so important if you've been doing this method for a long time and I don't want to say so important. Right now, the things are important. We know our family, our mental health, all those things, our physical health. But reaching out to someone and just saying good job, and Malaysia does an amazing job of this, and Change Girl and all of these OGs, like that makes a difference because you're like, oh my gosh, someone sees me.
Yes.
And I just wanted to give her a shout out because I watch you, and because you were on beginner, but now you're doing fundamental because there's no beginner this week. And like, it made me be like, okay, fine, I can go to fundamental. And I did yesterday because you did. So you're on day 2, I'm on day 1, but today will be my day 2. But it's because of her that I'm just learning to like move through the bullshit and go back into what I know works, which is making this a priority. Sometimes we forget to make this a priority because of ways we're feeling about ourselves. But when you see somebody that's never done this before sweating and trying, and you're like, wait, I can do this.
Exactly. So well said. It's the truth. We'll have to get her before we end here. I'll
get it right now, but I can listen at the same time.
I'll scroll through. I think I saw a couple of questions. Kathy's on. Hi, Kathy. Let's see. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if I think I said it earlier before you were on, but we're like having this is a hard time in our human life, and I hope everybody is just feeling well today.
Thank you for acknowledging that, because I think people are like not pretending, but not talking about everything. And I think it's important to talk, but I also think it's important, like Shana taught me to listen, and like, thank you for sharing with me what you did the other night. I don't know if you want to share or not, but like, I think you should.
This has been a hard time. I mean, Instagram is kind of a highlight reel of our lives, but I think we share a little bit more. But we are on an emotional roller coaster together. So, okay, Kathy says, how about the original mat workout arms? Yowza. I would agree.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So
yeah.
when you need a reboot, or if you've fallen away from this method, or if you're brand new and doing streaming, you're like, just for whatever reason, it's not clicking, go look up the original mat DVD arms, or go to beginner arms and do them, and then like come back to it, because there's something about that reset that's so powerful. And when you say wowzers, like, I remember when I first started doing it, I like had to pause it. I remember looking 1 minute 33 seconds. Then I would come back 5 minutes later. I get to 2 minutes 17 seconds, and like it would go like that until I could do the whole thing. Those are brutal.
So crazy to think. And the first time you see it, you're like, well, that's not hard. Then you're doing this, and you're like, oh. And in the beginning, you're just like doing this, right? And then you like start to engage everything. You're like, oh, I can like feel. I literally have like wing muscles back here. It's like
I want to share something else too. I do those arms and fundamental legs. I love that. I'm gonna try that today. That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
What was it? I haven't caught up to that one, but so Kathy asked where to send your request. So you just send it to the online studio, right? Instagram.
Yes. So you can do the email, but I find the response time is much shorter, almost immediately. If you go on Instagram, Tracy Anderson Method Online Studio, and we can put the handle on here, and say, like, because it's usually Stacy, but maybe not right now because the times are different. But I say, like, sometimes we just like spit out what we want, but like, say, who is this? Is this Stacy? Is this Maria? Or you don't know, just be like, hi, I'm so and so. Who's this? Ashley said to reach out to you, and I want to know who I'm talking to, because I think it puts a face to it too.
Right.
I mean, do you get what I'm saying? Like with these handles, like I didn't know your name was Nicole until I got your email.
Right. No.
You don't know who I am because I'm Dance Move Shake. Like, what the hell is that?
Right. Unless it's in somebody's profile, unless they have their name in their profile, I don't know where to find your name. So I've actually, people that we've interviewed, I have not known their name. I've been wanting to ask them for an interview, and I've had to like go through their handle or their whole feed to find their name, which seems so dumb because we should know each other, but how would that even happen? So I'm Hey Holmes.
But don't you feel like
handle?
But don't you feel like you know their heart and you know who they are? Yeah. More so than what a name tells you, kind of.
Exactly. And that really is like the basis of humanity. That's where we need to be with people. You don't need to know the person that you see on the street or even anyone. It's about this energy, this connection at a cosmic level, I guess. It's not about names. It's not even about our bodies. It's so now we're getting like woo, but it's the truth.
I love the woo.
That's how we're gonna get through this thing that is happening. I mean, we have to, I don't know, breathe in and breathe out each other. I don't know. I could talk I could talk like that all day, but this is about you. So
okay.
So have you been to a Vitality Week? We know you've been to.
Yes, I did Los Angeles, October 2018. I didn't know it, but I was 2 weeks pregnant. And I remember it was, October 2018. It was in Brentwood, and I went with Laura Steele. Lala Loves Tam. We met. She stayed with me. She was going to cancel because she had originally signed up for the San Diego one, but then Tracy but she had to cancel that, but gave them the option to choose any Vitality Week 12 months from that day, and then they could redo it then. So she did that one, and the only way she could have done it is if she stayed with me. So her and I didn't live there at the time. We stayed at my dad's house, who was living there, and then we drove together. We stayed there, and it was amazing. I loved it. And but there was something different about it. I remember, like, but not different, like I was tired, like I felt so strong, and like that was the best result. Like after that, it was
Mhm.
not a weight thing, not an inches thing, an internal, that was the best I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
And then Halloween, so 2 weeks later, I took a pregnancy test and I was pregnant. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Oh.
But I think that's, your body knows too. Like I wasn't trying, like it just was almost like when my body was in its place of like, it could not be more of a functioning, efficient, balance. Like there were no imbalances. I was so balanced. Then God was like, okay, it's time. Like this is going to be the healthiest time in your life to carry. So I think that's why that happened.
Yeah. It's the truth. Things happen for, there's a plan somewhere.
Wait, I have a question for you. Do your kids, does Michael do TAM with you?
She has in the past.
It's like, that's my dream.
Yeah, a couple. Oh, if she would just do it all the time. She knows about it. I mean, she tried. I think there was a contest last year where you found a partner, and so she did it for a month. Not as consistent.
But she's a teenager.
She's 22.
Oh, so, just kidding.
Yeah. But she recently, like 2 days ago, she's like, I guess I'm going to start doing Tracy again. Her gym closed down. She's an athlete. So, and we're all athletes of the Tracy Anderson method. But she played volleyball. So she has that competitive kind of thing. And she really likes like the design of like a CrossFit body. She likes her booty. But I think she's realizing, like everyone else, she's prioritizing and realizing that maybe this thing that I wasn't really doing, that isn't feeding me, I need to look somewhere else. So she actually said, yes, I have to start doing Tracy. And I was like, yes.
Do you want to mention something, because it made me think of that you shared Tracy, like other doctors in my life, and I don't believe she's a doctor, but she had the same effect as a doctor, helped me heal my spine. I have a spinal stenosis and herniated disc. I was a competitive skier growing up, and a lot of falls. And it is, if you do it and breathe correctly, and I do think there's a breath component that she doesn't talk about that much. Well, she doesn't talk in her classes, but her trainers, if you do customs, talk about it. And if you ask them, they'll answer. Mm-hmm. There is a reason when we do any moves when we're on our all fours and we breathe, and there is a reason why our lungs expand when we inhale and they collapse when we exhale. When we're doing any of these moves, like on the side where you're going like this and then this, if you inhale, you're going to get more stretch. If you exhale, you're going to draw it in. So like when you're doing arms, or if you're doing any legs, any classic all fours, hydrant, long angle, if you're here and you get on the ground and you purposely inhale when you lift your leg and exhale when you bring it down, the change that happens is so powerful. And I see people talking about skiing. It's kind of like skiing. It's kind of like any time you're out in nature, when you breathe it in, you naturally, like your body starts to grow. When you exhale, what you just did.
Yeah.
Grounded. You came down to the earth.
Yeah.
So like and I guess that's like the yogi in me, but like the one thing I do tell people who are new to this, because I've had so many, like carving, I've had so many friends start this method that either start with me or I send them like a link and they do the 2-week. I'm like, just something she doesn't say, but it's really helpful, is when you see her open, inhale, and when you see her go in, exhale. And I really do, for me, I started seeing a difference in my belly, like a lot. And you can do it in the ab part too. Like lately she's been doing the things where she's like, shh, and then she holds it.
Yeah.
Like that's not a time to strain. That's like a time to do the opposite. So like when you're here, you're inhaling, then you're here, and like this is something I knew from yoga, but I wasn't reminded of it until Shana and other trainers, Mally, I mean, I could go on forever, but a lot of the trainers reminded us, like, it is a moving meditation. And Tracy says that, and we feel that. And that's, I think, kind of what gets you hooked in. Same thing they say, like, as a runner's high, or if your daughter, I'm sure, has told you, like, when she's playing, like, there's a certain moment that comes in, and it's when there's a rhythm. And that internal rhythm doesn't come when you're questioning yourself. It doesn't come when you're trying to copy Tracy exactly. It comes when you really start to breathe with the movements. And don't think of them as separate, because they're not separate. You're doing it. Like, move with your body. Does that make sense?
Let go of trying to hold on to it. Just let it happen. Let your
See, I like, oh wait, you'll love this because your mom. I built this with these books. Like,
I did. You should see. If I could turn it around, I have a stack of books right here. That's just how I do.
Yeah.
And I usually do this in my dining room, but it's actually my work desk right now, so I'm in my bedroom. I'm just gonna check for questions real quick.
Okay. Take your time.
Yes, fundamental. So I just skied. This is JC Burke. I just skied the hardest and fastest and strongest in my life, thanks to Tam. Yeah. Okay, so this is a perfect time for a free 2-week trial. Yes, it is. Sign up. And I don't know if it's still there, but Sally Pressman in her
stories.
In her stories
has a code for 30 days.
Yeah, so it's for 30 days. And I don't know if it's still active for 30 days or if they switched it over to 2 weeks, but go to Sally Pressman's profile, and in her profile, there's a link for, I think it's 30 days. So maybe try that one if it's still there. So, okay, so back to the questions. I don't see any chat questions. So we've talked about so many things. I don't want to ask a question that we haven't already talked about. Why is your workout important to you?
My workout is important to me because my breath is important to me. And when I work out, especially right now, having a new baby in the house and being being privileged to not have to work right now and stay at home during this time and not be exposed to anything. It's when I'm holding my baby, when I'm telling my baby's daddy to drink more water, when I'm bossing other people around, doing other stuff, I'm not breathing for Ashley. I'm going down a checklist. I'm doing things. I'm living. I truly feel, and Tam is the only place I feel like this, and it always happens within the first 30 seconds. Like, I could let go and I can go and start breathing for me, because it's only about me. It's not even about me and Tracy. It's about me. And that can last for the length of arms. It can last for a 30-minute class. It can last for an hour. But as long as that music's on, I have my mat out, and I'm carving that time out for myself, it's mine. If my baby cries, then that pauses. If something else grabs my attention, I'm just being really honest. Like, I've stopped and dealt with that. I've just recently started again, which I did prior, as saying this is my time. And whether that's 5:30 a.m. or 7:30 p.m., I think it's really, 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 really important that you aren't militant about, well, I can only do this when my kid's napping, or when this is perfect, or when the kitchen's clean, or when I don't have anything else to do. Because sometimes it's better to do arms 2 or 3 times in a day and then do legs than just say fuck it and not do it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, and not every time it's going to be perfect. It never is. So like, why is it so important to me is because for whether it's 30 seconds or 60 minutes, that time that I'm there is all about Ashley. It's not about anybody else. And that's like, that's not narcissistic. That's not egotistic. That is the definition of caring for oneself, is putting yourself as the priority.
Right.
So it's like, I love it. It's my favorite time.
Yeah. And look what you're teaching your baby girl, that, that you matter, that all of this other stuff is going to happen, but that you matter to yourself. So you're going to do,
Absolutely.
and be flexible with if that change, you know, if the picture changes a little bit, you know? Yeah. Do you have an advice? I think you may have mentioned something earlier, but do you have advice for someone who's new to Tracy's method?
Yes, if you're new,
yeah.
welcome. Whether you're watching this live with us or whether you're going to watch on YouTube later or whether someone just says, oh, hey, I heard this advice. If you're new, we were all new once. The best thing to do is to start an Instagram account, go to Tracy Anderson Method Online Studio and say, hi, I'm new. Please help me. Tell me where to start. I know it's in the directions, but I want to introduce myself and I need help. If you're not comfortable doing that, go to somebody's profile that for whatever reason you resonate with their eyes, you resonate with an outfit they're wearing, you resonate with something they say in their caption. Say, hello, I'm so-and-so. I connected with you, because they will respond, and they will respond with enthusiasm, and they will say, most likely, message me anytime, text me, like, let's hop on a call, because that stuff happens, and having a partner is really important. You can't put everything in accountability into somebody else because it is about you and your commitment to yourself. But if you're brand new, it's helpful for someone to hold your hand in the beginning. And if you're brand new, I love the advice of doing beginner's arms, pausing it after beginner arms, drinking some water, getting an extra towel for your knees, having your weights out, and then going and doing legs. And then when that feels good for a day or two, say, I'm going to get all the stuff out in the beginning and I'm going to stay here. But I think it's really important to, if you need breaks, give yourself breaks because it's a new language. Tracy talks about this all the time. It's a new language. It's a brand new thing. So just because it says beginner, there's nothing beginner about beginners. There's nothing beginner about beginners.
It's hard. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult conversation no matter what level you're at.
Agreed.
It's just a different.
But yeah, to summarize that, message somebody and say, I'm new and I want to make this connection, and can you check in with me for the next 7 days?
Yeah. Great advice. And pay attention to your newness, right? Like, I remember my first post and the first person that said something to me.
Who was it?
Whoa! It was, oh my gosh, why can't I remember her name right now? She lives in Florida. This is terrible. She has a baby boy. She's not posting very much anymore. She's really good friends with Loretta. That's terrible that I can't remember her name.
What's her handle?
It's changed. She changed it. Oh my
But
God.
you know her, and you know her story, and you know a lot of details. Exactly.
It's terrible. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel so, it's going to come to me. But then also your song, like you talked about the song the first time that you did streaming, right? Yeah, my first song was a Pat Benatar song, and it came on and I was like, what is this?
Wait. When did you start, like summer 2018?
Yeah, well, I started, she's played that song like one other time during streaming.
Oh, okay.
It was the opening.
I remember that time because that's when I think I posted me lip singing to that. Yeah. I know I did.
Yeah. And then it will come up at a Vitality Week every week. It's one Vitality Week, but it comes on and I'm like, yes. But I remember it just like opened me to this whole thing. And I had been doing Meta and other things, but like that streaming experience where you're in the classroom and the music is loud and you're like, whoa, this is new. Anyway, so pay attention to that, right? Yeah. That's what, not to like chime in on. Let's see here. What do your friends and family think of the method?
Oh my gosh, I am not with my daughter's father, but during this quarantine, we had a visitation schedule. I said, you either stay here and you see her every day, or you don't see her till this is over, because I didn't want him coming and going and bringing stuff in. So, and even before that, he kind of was always been in and out. Every time he's here, he knows, like, either he does it with me or he takes baby and goes in the other room. Like, so that person in my family knows how important it is to me, but also is a 35-year-old male and does Tracy and is like, whoa, this is hard. And like, I can only, and even begin, like, all of it is hard, but specifically arms are really difficult for him. He's super buff, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's hard. My mom, I, prior to this, would go to her house and she would always ask me to do Tracy, and we put on the TV, and she just turned 70, but this was probably when she was like 66, 67. My grandmother in Florida, who's in her 80s, she has done arms with me. Like, so my thing is arms. Like, I love all of Tracy, but there's something about arms that is like, I think being a studio member too, like when you do it at a Vitality, have you been to a Vitality Week or been in the studio?
Yeah.
So doesn't arms feel different than when you do it at home?
Yeah.
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 It does.
It's like being, it's like, well, you're home, but it's like it like wakes you up. I mean, there's.
So my friends and family have every single one of them at some point done that with me. And yeah, they know how important it is to me, and they know it's a non-negotiable, but they also, oh, this is the best. Like, when I was pregnant, her dad would be like, have you done Tracy? Like, you haven't done Tracy. Like, he just knew by the way I acted.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I haven't. He's like, well, why don't you? I was like, stop telling me what to do. And he's like, well, you're like, this isn't working, so do it. It's I believe it's like, you know how people have chocolate to feel better, they will take mood enhancers. Like, Tracy Anderson method is 100% a mood shifter.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And the realm of emotions you can go through during one class, if you allow yourself to like let go of whatever it was that you had when you showed up, I mean, you can go through it all, right? Yeah. And I get angry at classes. Do you ever get angry at a class? Yeah. Like, what? Why are you asking me to do this? This is so, or blah, 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 you know?
Yes.
And
that's why I was like, it's your time, because I will dialogue with her, or curse, or just breathe really, like, are you kidding? But then, like, I love the ones where, like, she does it too. Where she's like,
there's in this week's Attain class, she's doing a move, and you see her, she's like, she like looks over at Anne Claire, and she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, am I really making myself do this right now?
That's the best though.
Yeah. It's a real, she's real. It's a real deal.
All of us are real. That's why we find each other. That's why I love this method so much.
I don't know. I don't have a watch on, and Instagram will cut us off at an hour, so I have no idea how much.
Yeah, we have a couple more minutes.
So what is a motivational quote you would like to share with the Tamily?
Love is the strongest medicine.
Love is the strongest medicine. That is true.
I think so. And laughter, but for sure, love. And yeah, so especially through this method when it's challenging, or this time, like, it's so much easier to judge people or judge how they're handling the situation, especially when it affects the people you love, like your parents, or it could affect you, like, and it will affect all of us, but I find that, like, love is the strongest medicine for any situation. I think I realized that the most in dealing with the difficult relationships in my life. It doesn't mean let people walk all over you, treat like shit, and but it does mean to, like, love them.
Yeah.
Because it's medicine that maybe they're not getting. Not maybe, most likely, and that's why they're such pieces of shit.
Right. And maybe you just need to offer that into the world, and that will help them.
Yeah, and then I feel like that what we're talking about comes in, love is the strongest medicine. doing the method is loving yourself.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
So why are we loving everybody else and not loving ourselves? It makes a difference. I'm so happy I'm sharing this with you right now because like I've made a commitment to teaching a yoga class 7 days a week at 11 a.m. and I've been sharing it on my Instagram and Facebook Live because I can't teach public classes anymore. And it's today, like I do it during my daughter's nap time. And sometimes she only naps for 1 hour. So that means I can't do Tracy and teach my class. And that doesn't work. I can't just give and not give to myself. Like, and not to say like yoga is giving to me, but like I said to you, like my, for the whole thing, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, I need Tracy as part of that. So like today, like I really want to go on and be like, choose any of the other 6 days I did this week, but like,
yeah, I need me. This is, I'm loving myself. Yeah.
And because I want to try what they recommended, do original mat arms that are like, I think like 7 or 8 minutes, and then do fundamental legs.
That's cool. Yeah. Yep. Do what feels right.
Always.
Love is the strongest medicine. I think that's a good place for us to pause and remember, you know, this has been
remembering too. That's one of, so in yoga philosophy, like there's this word called shmadana, and it means remembering. And when you practice yoga, or when you practice the Tracy Anderson method, why are we doing this? And the reason for everything is so we can remember who we truly are. And so when you said like, let's pause and remember, like, that's why we do this, so we can remember who we are.
Yeah.
Don't you remember who you are when Pat Benatar comes on and you're feeling it? Like, that's really who you are. Yeah. It's not this other stuff.
Nope. Exactly.
It was so nice talking to you, and I will be reaching out again to you directly. It was really nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you too. Sending you love.
My baby's crying. I want you guys to see her.
Oh, please.
Go get her. Hold on. Shh. Will you bring Shanti in, please? I can hear her. She wants mama's milk. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. Daddy says you have to go to bed soon. Daddy says you have to go to bed soon.
Oh my gosh. Oh, she's just pure love. Look at you, darling.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I'm like kind of getting tears in my eyes. That's how much like the mama thing. Oh, hi, precious girl.
All right. I'm going to feed this one.
All right.
It was really nice meeting you. Take care.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So Ashley. All right. Thank you, Tamily. Bye.
Bye.